There is a man 2 miles down the road from my farm who paid $340 last month to heat his house. I know because he told me himself, standing at my fence line on a Tuesday morning, watching me split wood in a coat I have owned for 11 years. He asked me what my heating bill was. I told him the same thing it has been for the past 32 years. Nothing. He laughed. Then he stopped laughing when he realized I was not joking. My name is Edwin Yoder. I was raised Old Order Amish in Holmes County, Ohio. My father built the house I live in with his own hands in 1974. No furnace, no ductwork, no thermostat on the wall. This January, when the temperature outside dropped to 9 degrees for 4 days straight, my kitchen was warm enough that my wife baked bread in her house dress with the sleeves rolled up. I am going to show you exactly what we do, not the philosophy of it. The actual steps, in the order we do them, with what each one costs. Most of it costs nothing. The one thing you might need to buy costs $8. Stay with me, because the last thing I show you is the one that matters most, and most people quit before they get there. Let me start with something your heating company does not want you to understand. Your furnace is not your problem. Your house is the problem. Specifically, the gaps in it. Right now, as you are watching this, warm air is leaving your home through cracks around your window frames, under your exterior doors, along your baseboards, through your electrical outlets, on exterior walls. The Department of Energy estimates this accounts for up to 25% of all the heat a home loses in winter. 1/4. Gone before it ever warms a single person. We call it stopping the mouth of the house. Every fall, before the first cold week arrives, I walk every exterior wall of this farmhouse with a single candle. I hold that candle near every window edge, every door frame, every crack where two materials meet. Where the flame bends toward the wall, cold air is coming in. Where it bends away, warm air is going out. I mark every spot with a piece of chalk. Then I fix every one of them in a single afternoon with one tool, rope caulk. You will find it in the weatherproofing aisle of any hardware store. Gray putty sold in a coil, $5 for enough to do every window in a standard house. You pull off a strand and press it into the gap with your thumb. No gun, no tools, no skill required. In spring, you peel it off clean and your windows open again like nothing happened. My grandmother used beeswax mixed with rendered tallow. Same principle. Fill the gap. Stop the draft. Now the doors. The bottom of an exterior door is the single worst heat leak in most homes. You can prove this to yourself tonight. Turn off the lights in a room with an exterior door. Lie on the floor and look toward the door threshold. If you can see light coming in from outside, cold air is coming in too, all night, every night, all winter long. We use door snakes, a tube of heavy fabric stuffed with sand or dried rice, laid against the inside base of every exterior door. My wife makes them from old feed sacks. If you do not sew, take a bath towel, roll it tight, wrap a rubber band around each end, and lay it against your door tonight. Free. Takes 30 seconds. Works immediately. Now here is where most people stop. They seal the gaps, they stuff the doors, and they think they are finished. They are not finished. They have addressed maybe half of the problem. The other half is what you do with the heat you already have. We do not heat the whole house. This is the piece that took me the longest to explain to my neighbor, the one with the $340 bill. His furnace runs all night, pushing heated air into every room in his house, including the guest bedroom nobody has slept in since October, the formal dining room they use 4 times a year, and the hallway that connects rooms nobody is sitting in. In winter, every door in my house that leads to a room we are not using is closed. The storage room, the back bedroom, the room where my son keeps his tools, closed, and the gaps along the bottom stuffed with a rolled towel. We heat the kitchen and the sitting room. That is it. 2 rooms, the rest of the house takes care of itself. A fire that heats 600 square feet keeps a family warm. A fire that tries to heat 2,000 square feet keeps nobody warm and burns twice the wood doing it. Now I want to tell you about the sun, because this is the thing we have done for 200 years that costs nothing and that almost nobody in a modern house does correctly. My grandfather positioned this farmhouse with the long wall facing due south. He stood in this field in January before he poured a single foundation stone, and he watched where the sun moved, low in the sky in winter, moving from southeast to southwest across the southern horizon. He put the biggest windows on that wall and the smallest windows on the north wall where the wind comes in hard. In winter, a south-facing window is a solar collector. The sun is low. The light comes in at a low angle and reaches deep into the room, landing on the floor, on the table, on the stone around the wood stove. That stone absorbs the heat and holds it for hours after the sun goes down. Every south-facing curtain in my house is open from sunrise to mid-afternoon, wide open. I am letting the sun work for free. By 3 o'clock, when the light angle drops and the sun stops reaching the floor, I close every curtain in the house. Heavy curtains. My wife makes them with 2 layers of fabric and wool batting between. Ceiling to floor, overlapping the frame on both sides. When those curtains close, a window that would drain heat all night becomes a wall. If you do not have heavy curtains, hang a blanket. Pin it over the window before you go to bed. It looks exactly like what my grandmother did in the hard winters of the 1950s when she could not afford new fabric. A blanket over a window at night is worth 2 degrees of indoor temperature by morning. I have measured it. Now I want to tell you the thing that costs $8, because this is the one that surprised my neighbor most when I showed him window insulation film. Clear plastic sheeting that you apply to the inside of your window frame with double-sided tape, then shrink tight with a hair dryer. It costs $8 to $10 for a kit that covers 3 or 4 windows. When you apply it correctly, it traps a pocket of air between the plastic and the glass. That air pocket insulates. A window that was losing heat through a single pane of glass now behaves like a double pane window. This old house tested it. Shrink film applied to a single pane window retains up to 55% more heat than the same window without it. The Amish used oiled paper stretched over window frames for the same reason 200 years before this product existed. The principle is identical. Trap a layer of still air. Still air does not conduct heat. The cold stays outside. The warmth stays in. Now I want to leave you with the thing my father told me the winter I was 12 and complaining about the cold. He said, "Edwin, a warm family does not need a warm house." He meant that if you dress right, sleep under the right quilts, and gather in the right room at the right time of day, the house only needs to be warm enough. Not perfect, not 68 degrees in every room at every hour. Warm enough where the people are. We sleep under quilts my wife made with 3 layers of wool batting. The bedroom is cold at night. The kitchen is warm in the morning because the wood stove never fully goes out, and I add wood before I go to sleep. By the time my wife comes downstairs to start breakfast, the kitchen is already the warmest room in the house. That is the whole system. Seal the gaps with $5 of rope caulk. Stop the door drafts with a rolled towel. Close off the rooms you are not using. Open your south-facing curtains during the day and close everything at night. Put $8 window film on your coldest windows. One afternoon. $8 if you need to buy anything at all. Tell me in the comments what state you live in and what you are paying for heat right now. And tell me if you have south-facing windows, because if you do, you are sitting on a solar heater you have never turned on. Next week, I am going to show you what my wife does with the cook stove that keeps this kitchen at 70 degrees on a 20-degree morning without burning a single extra piece of wood. It is a method her mother taught her, and her grandmother taught her mother, and it has nothing to do with the stove itself. Until then, seal the gaps, close the curtains, and stop paying someone else to fix a problem your house was never supposed to have.